WNDS Sports presents Candlepin Stars and Strikes, featuring the best candlepin bowlers from all over New England. And now, in our 17th season, here's your hosts for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, Dick Lutz and Mike Moore.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Moore, and tough act to follow last week. Hugh Ferguson trailing after a couple of strings, put 9 marks on the board in the third string on his way to a victory over John Winchell.
It was very exciting. The sleeping giant awoke, I guess, in that third and final string. Today, 2 bowlers who are just 5 weeks apart in age, both men 53 years old, clash to the Titan. Surprisingly, Hugh Ferguson and Bill Treeful have never bowled each other before on television, so this is a first.
We'll meet them right now, our competitors this afternoon. First, our winner last week from Hanover, Massachusetts, our number 5 seed, Hugh Ferguson.
Yeah, he electrified the crowd with a 174 game. Average is 118. High single is 212. As you have a look at him, Hugh's high triple is 486. Does his bowling at the Hanson Athletic Association in Hanson, Mass.
Hugh had a 642 to earn his number 5 seed and a 393 triple last week for the victory. He'll be taking on number 3 seed Bill Treeful from Franklin, Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's been a couple years since we've seen Bill Treeful, and we're glad to have him back today. Average is 128. His high single 193. Bill's high triple is 492, and he bowls a couple different places. Central Park Lanes in East Boston, and Park Place Lanes, Wyndham, and Exeter Lanes as well.
We're ready to go. It's Hugh Ferguson and Bill Treeful. We're coming right back to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. We're back right after this. We began with 5 a couple of weeks ago, and now we're down to 4 with John Winchell's elimination last week by Hugh Ferguson, setting up this afternoon's match with Hugh Ferguson and Bill Treeful. And Hugh Ferguson will be first to bowl here this afternoon at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. What a third string he put on the board last week. A 174, 9 marks in 10 boxes, including 8 in a row to start off. He trailed by 21 after 1 string, trailed by 8 after 2, and won it going away. 393 to 336, the final score. He won $175 in bonus money, plus another $50 for having the high string in the match. And he advanced to this week's match against the number 3 seed, Bill Treeful.
So it was bonus money in the amount of, what'd you say, 225?
225.
Wow. Our runner-up today, by the way, takes home $225, and the winner goes on to take on Chris Beauvais, who was last year's Tournament of Champions champion.
With all the times these two guys have been on TV, they never ran into one another.
I was shocked to find that out. And even more interesting is the fact that they are 5 weeks apart in age. And the elder of the two is Hugh Ferguson, born January 31st, 1948. Bill Treeful turned 53 on March 8th. So about 5 weeks between these two gentlemen.
And there's a spare for Hugh Ferguson in the second. Our birthdays are right in between those two, and we had a nice letter here from, if I can find it out, here it is. This is from Bob and Jenny Welch from West Townsend, Massachusetts, who watched our show that was shown on February 24th, and we acknowledged their birthday card that they had sent to us. And if you'll recall, they sent us the incorrect horoscope.
Oh, that's right. They thought we were Capricorns,
I think that's what it was.
And we're Pisces.
They remedied that by sending us some Pisces information. So there you go. You're all set with your daily dose of Pisces information. And Bill Treeful bowling for the first time this afternoon on lane 34 with an 8-box to start out.
Your lucky hobbies: the internet, aerobics, and new age studios.
Studies.
Oh, studies.
You radio guys are always thinking of studios. Here's Bill Treeful.
It also
trying to
says
break up the split. Go ahead.
You should get reading glasses soon. On my thing here. Thank you very much to the Welches in West Townsend.
And Bill with the spare in the second box, so they match marks in the second frame. Now Hugh Ferguson who bowls out of the Hanson Athletic Association in Hanson, Massachusetts. Just nudged the head pin, put 7 in the spare.
He had a couple coats of rust to shake off last week, but when he did, wow. A 174 game. Checking back in our archives here, which just go back about 3.5 years, actually almost 4 now, and the highest game I could find was 182 by Gary Carrington, our first season, 97-98 season.
Ferguson not able to convert.
Well, I could swear somebody had a 190 game. I can't find it, though. We'll wait and see how that is officially scored.
They give it a 9.
So there it is, 32 through 3 for Hugh Ferguson. We'll address the pins now on lane 33. And he's back to part of his trouble last week, and that's hitting the head pin. Didn't have any trouble in that third game, of course, but his first 2, the kingpin eluded him.
Digging out all of my scores from all of the previous matches from the time you and I began doing the show here. I'm just going to try and peruse them real quickly and see if I can.
Well, I got 182 for Carrington, but I thought somebody had a 190 game. Somebody that had a triple strike, but you know, somebody out there watching today will know the answer to that. If I had a little more time, I could get it together, I think.
Well, I'm just going to give it a quick glance. Going through
well,
these
I'll
sheets
cover
here.
for you while you take a look.
All right, you do that.
Billy Treeful is up on lane 34, and he'll take a strike, a Brooklyn hit, and a sweeper off the right-hand kickboard, and he's got a spare and a strike back-to-back.
Chance at some bonus money right off the bat.
I must apologize to Bill Treeful. Some time ago, we talked about him being on the senior tour, and I referred to him as the former deputy, and boy, did he hear about that from his friends, and did I hear about that from him when I
believe
talked to
it.
him. He is a retired police chief and not a deputy. Now, I have no idea what the ranks are, but apparently I gave him a demotion. So I apologize to retired police chief Bill Treeful.
He puts a 9 in the strike.
Both these men in pretty good shape for 53 years old. Ouch, into the channel. He'll take a 9. And a 16-pin lead for Bill Treeful as Hugh Ferguson now steps up to lane 34. Finding anything in the
no, not yet. Nothing even close so far.
Got the computer at home. I guess I should get a laptop, Dick, and have it with us here so I've got everything at my fingertips.
We'll put it in next year's budget.
What are we going to have to give up, though, to get that?
There's your 190 from Rich Clark.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I said last week.
That was aired on May 9th, 1999 on his way to a 442.
It was in the Tournament of Champions, I believe.
And he had a triple strike. No, it was not. Was it the triple
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. That was the Tournament of Champions, yeah.
That's why I couldn't find it, because all my yearly recaps don't include the Tournament of Champions.
Yeah,
so.
it was in the and Rich went on the next week to win the championship, beating Jack Ray in the championship match.
Okay. So it is 190.
Rich really cleaned up that Tournament of Champions. He had the triple strike jackpot, and he won the championship the following week.
That was about a $3,000 payday, as I recall, for Rich.
So there's the 190, so we know that's
that's
at least
it.
the highest.
Nothing higher than that since we've done it. I think there may have been a higher year in the years that Dick and Doug did the show. I'm sorry, Dan and Doug. All right, so once again, Hugh Ferguson is going to the left, which was one of his big problems last week until he found the zone in the third game, pounding out a 174 game.
What did
spare shot, by the way, for Hugh Ferguson?
Trying to remember what Hawk Hallis pulled in that string, in the third string, when he came back from the big deficit to win over Joe Ashline.
I couldn't tell you. It wasn't a record breaker, but it was 7 or 8 marks in a row.
I'm not
That
finding
was
that
2 or
match.
3 years ago. Was that in the Tournament of Champions?
I don't think so, but I'm not positive.
I think it was.
Here it is. Here it is. He had a 161 in the third string.
And it was a Tournament of Champions. There's a spare for Billy Treeful, as you'll have another look at it. 4, 7, 9, and 10 with Wood. So he'll keep his lead over Hugh Ferguson, who has a markup himself in the 6th frame.
Put 9 in the spare for Treeful.
Oh. Missing it to the right side, not by much. And he'll miss it again, same place.
Tom Morgan had a 161 in a losing effort to Rich Clark.
He lost with 161?
Yeah.
There's a head pin hit finally for Hugh Ferguson. Doesn't care for the results he has, the 7 and the 10. He's got a leaner against the 10 pin and a Wood out in front of the 7 pin. And the 10 should be easy. The 7 pin may not go. Not at a good angle. But they had a lucky ricochet shot here. Well, 0 for 2.
And a 9 box for Hugh. And we ought to put some incentive up for grabs. It's easy for me to say it's not my money for a 200 game.
Yeah, well, you know what would be great to do? To offer $1 million, because no, seriously, you could buy an insurance policy for that. You know, these hole-in-one contests.
Yeah.
You do the same thing.
Maybe we'll talk about it. See if we can.
We've got a lot of great ideas.
Yeah.
Because it's with other people's money. And those policies I don't think are terribly expensive.
Got some emails that we'll pass along to you from our viewers. There's a nice shot by Hugh. And a mark in the 8th frame. Pat and Tony Bruno send in an email just writing to say that my mother is watching your show right now and wouldn't miss it for anything. She's watched it for years, and since she can't bowl herself any longer, it gives her great pleasure to see it every week. We love to hear stories like that. She's gotten the grandchildren into watching it when they're around, and we always hear, take us bowling when they visit. Hope you're on for a good long time. It's great family viewing. Here's a nice shot by Bill Treeful, and he converts the spare.
Yeah. Crowd love that one.
So the email address, by the way, is WNDS_TV@yahoo.com. If you'd like to send us an email, we'd love to hear from you. WNDS_TV@yahoo.com. And Bill Treeful in the spare tries to break up that split. Can't do it. Has some wood on the deck that can't hurt, that's for sure. With the 3, the 7, and the 10. The 2, the 7, and the 10, I'm sorry. Not going to get it.
Put it where he wanted to, but nothing got over to take out the 10 pin.
$10 for Bill Treeful. He's at 111. Hugh Ferguson is at 86 plus a ball, so it's about a 20-pin lead for Bill Treeful.
Somebody, Dick, turning on the show today for the first time in a while would think they're watching the old Channel 5
Yeah, really.
show from
Deja
20 years
vu all
ago.
over again.
With these two bowlers matched up, both very dominant in the 80s. You never know what you're going to get here on the Winds. Our show next week, it's Chris Bovair, who was the Tournament of Champions victor last year, and Sean Baker, who's had a great year, is our top seed.
All I know is the last couple of weeks with the weather that we've been having, Al Caprellian's been working about 28-hour days.
He's the hardest working meteorologist on television.
And if not the most accurate, certainly one of the closest to being the most accurate. It's an 8 box for Hugh. Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV is a presentation of the Thompson family of dealerships. McMulkin Chevrolet, Nashua Hyundai, Nashua Mitsubishi, and Nashua Daewoo, all located in the New England Automotive Village on the Daniel Webster Highway in Nashua, New Hampshire.
That ball had strike written all over it. How'd he leave a 6-7 split?
Well, 174 in the third string last week, and he's around 110 first string this week.
That's what he started with last week. Dick was a 110.
Want to acknowledge another email from Mr. Al Dehoff from Ashland, Massachusetts, who watches every week. Another 10 bucks for Hugh Ferguson, a 111. Bill Treeful is already at 111, so whatever he gets in the next 2 boxes will be his lead after the first string. Spread eagle.
Are you a big email online person? Do you communicate with many people that way?
No, a few.
Yeah.
A few from around the country.
My 73-year-old father in the Detroit area just got a computer finally, and he likes it. He was afraid he would like it too much, and it's come true.
And that's going to be an 8 box for Bill Treeful. He's at 119. He has an 8-pin lead. My kids live on it, though. They're on it all the time.
I must admit to spending too much time on it myself.
Here's a strike for Treeful in the 10th frame. Crossed over to the Brooklyn side. He's got a little bit of a hook on his ball, and he went to the Brooklyn side and picked up the strike. So it's an 18-pin lead plus whatever he gets in the strike.
Looking for that double strike, which would be 2/3 of the way to our triple strike jackpot, which is $1,125 this week. Has not been hit this year.
Bill's lead is 18 pins. $26 pins, actually. 27 pins. A 27-pin lead for Bill Treeful after one. 138 to 111 the score. We're heading to string number 2. Don't go away. A lot more to come from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire as we continue with Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. All right, Bill Treeful is ready to bowl as we begin string number 2 at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutzk with Mike Morin. Great to have you with us. Week after week, it amazes me the constantly high ratings this program gets, with a dedicated group of viewers out there who just stay with us week after week, year after year, and we appreciate it very much. Treeful missed the spare and settles for a 9 box.
Nice letter to share here if we have a moment from Bo that was on with us a couple of years ago. Dick and Mike, hi guys, meant to email you sooner, but I'm really busy at work. Excuse me. I wanted to thank you for mentioning me on the show a couple of times. It's been 2 years since I was on the show, and you still remember me. That's cool. You mentioned I was one of the few bowlers on the show with an average less than 110. Talking about Dave Oliveri. Remember him?
There's a spare for Treeful.
Anyway, he's hoping to prove his buddies wrong who tell him he'll never get back on the show again. And that's his goal, is to get back on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Says, please say hi to some people I forgot to mention when I was on. Mom, Dad, Aunt Kathy, Nana G, watching every week. So thank you. Good to hear from you, Dave Oliveri, and we would love to see you back on the show. By the way, he says his average is up to 111 now, so thank you very much, David, for emailing us here at Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Keep plugging away.
That's what you got to do.
Well, Hugh had the 4 horsemen on the right side and the 8-pin in the back and just picked off the head pin. There's a 10 box. He has been really adept at picking up those complicated leaves for 10 boxes.
Yeah.
We've got a St. Patrick's Day card here, Michael.
which was a week ago, but we thank you.
Mary Bartone from Canton, Mass., who's always sending us cards and letters and acknowledging special events and holidays, sends us a nice St. Patrick's Day card. To all of us on the staff at WNDS TV for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, thank you, Mary, for thinking of us. Almost made another tough shot.
Gets the crowd buzzing on that one. You know, we're just a couple weeks away from the Tournament of Champions. And let me tell you who you will be seeing.
$9 for Hugh Ferguson.
Gary Carrington is up top at 414. Dave Richards at 404. Gary Santora is in third place for the seeding so far. This is, of course, all subject to change. At 403, Mike Morgan, 397. Sean McKinley, 392. So we know we'll at least see him the first week of the show.
Treeful right in the pocket. Puts 9 in the spare. Another spare opportunity. Adding to his lead. 2 marks in a row for Bill Treeful. We're still looking to give away bonus money for the first time in this match. We gave away a bunch of it last week. $225 to Hugh Ferguson, $50 to John Winchell. Right on the head pin and right through the head pin. Just 3 in the spare.
Mr. Treeful has 3 grown sons. John, 32, Mike is 31, and Brian, 29 years old. We told you the retired police chief, and is currently a lay brother at Mount St. Mary's Abbey in Rentham, where he manages the farm. And boy, that's quite an undertaking, especially with all the snow plowing he's had to do this winter. That's why this man is in such great physical shape.
Nice $10 for Bill Treeful. He's at 51 through 4. Hugh Ferguson needs a mark to climb back into it. But we know he's capable of putting a bunch of marks together. We saw him do it last week. 7 and 10 still stand. Wood all over the deck. You take your shot down the middle here and take your chances.
I think so.
Play that headwood to either side.
Maybe he'll go to the left and
I would do the
that
same
wood.
thing, yeah. No, I would go to the left of the front wood. Just like he did there. That's what I would have done.
Oh.
And it wouldn't go. It's exactly the way I would have played it. And a $9 for Hugh Ferguson. He's at 28.
Speaking of the way Dick plays the shots, in a couple of weeks you'll have a look at some of the highlights of Dick's and my bowling match at Pilgrim Lanes on February 25th. As part of the fundraiser for the kids going to Canada. We had our 1-string grudge match after Dick beat me last year. We'll not divulge any of this suspense until you see it in a couple of weeks.
Will it go? The 7-pin wobbles. We cannot divulge the results of that match.
We cannot.
All I will say is that I'm in no hurry to see it.
You're so humble. Which, by the way, is a refreshing change for you.
That's a nice shot by Hugh Ferguson, and he gets the mark.
And I think it's time for a break.
We'll take a break. We'll come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire, with Treeful in the lead, heading to the halfway point of this match. Don't go away. Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues on WNDS TV. All right, Bill Treeful has the lead. It's a 40-pin lead plus less whatever Hugh Ferguson gets on his next ball as he fills a spare. And Treeful ready to go on lane 34 at Leda Lanes. We mentioned last week on the show that on the day that we are taping this, it's another inclement weather Tuesday. We've had several bad Tuesdays. A couple of our scheduled tapings had to be postponed. And on the day we are taping this, it's not a very nice day. It was freezing rain in the morning, and it's raining outside now. And you look behind and you see the devoted fans who've made their way to Leda Lanes to watch our taping. It is remarkable and a real testament to their devotion to this show, and they come week after week. We invite you to join us And the Tournament of Champions, the taping for the Tournament of Champions is coming up on the 10th of April. And if you'd like to come and see it, we'll be starting about 9:30 in the morning. On that day, we'll have 5 matches, and we would love to see you. And there's always plenty of room, and Ray Cimino and Sean Howard and the staff at Leda Lanes go out of their way to accommodate you. They put the coffee and donuts out early, and hopefully it'll be a nice weather day, and we'll have a great crowd on hand for the Tournament of Champions. It's the 10th of April, a Tuesday, and we'll look forward to seeing you here at Leda Lanes. And make sure you stop by and say hi. Michael and I would love the opportunity to shake your hand and to meet you and to exchange greetings with you, and thank you for watching our show.
Well, Hugh Ferguson only managing a 3 fill on his one and only spare in this match as he falls further behind Bill Treeful.
Yeah, but there's still a string to go, and Hugh,
well,
has him right where he wants him.
I don't think Hugh would admit as much right now, but history has been known to repeat itself.
He really needs a mark. Treeful is adding to his lead.
Yeah, Bill's bowling well, but not exceptional. There's plenty of room for Hugh Ferguson to climb back in. Hugh with a left to right approach, which you don't see. Well, you see a number of bowlers with that style, but a little bit unorthodox. But it's worked for him over the years. You can't argue with his success. A 60% winning rate on television.
And a spare for Hugh Ferguson in the 6th frame.
Take 60% in any sport and be very grateful. As we all await the start of Red Sox season here, just a week away or so, if that. Opening up in Baltimore this year. Hoping all the snow is cleaned off Fenway Park by time the Sox open up.
A lot of doom and gloom coming out of Fort Myers already during spring training with everything that's happening down there.
Well, it was the Nomar injury that really got everybody upset to start with.
And Treeful makes the spare. So a couple of marks back-to-back to Bill Treeful. And an opportunity for bonus money right here.
None given away so far this week.
Well, with Carl Everett missing the bus one day, and then with Manny Ramirez not hitting all that well early on in spring training. There's a second pocket hit, and he did well to get 7 in the spare and leave himself another spare opportunity.
As we tape this show, the Red Sox have the worst record in Grapefruit League action, which is no big deal, because I think the Yankees had a terrible preseason last year, and of course we know what happened.
There's $50 in bonus money for Bill Treeful. First bonus money we've given away this afternoon. And Bill is adding to his lead. Now Hugh Ferguson working on a mark, needs to match the marks put on the board by Treeful. Missed the head pin. Just puts 3 in the spare again. So while Treeful put 9 in his spare, Ferguson just put 3 in his spare.
Well, he's got a nice touch, though, with those spare shots, doesn't he? Knows exactly where to attack it.
That'll be a 9 box. Bill Treeful has really built a lead here in the 2nd string. Hugh Ferguson really needs a mark.
Unless he's ready to pull out another 174 game in the 3rd string, it may be too late.
Well, he was right in the pocket on that one. 9-pin drop. The 6-pin stands with some wood in front of it.
It's a must make.
And he's got it. The spare for Hugh Ferguson in the 8th frame, and it matches a mark that Treeful has in the 8th. Treeful has 3 in a row. Looking for more bonus money. It's a 53-pin lead for Bill Treeful. In the pocket, 7 in the spare.
Bill has that right to left rotation on the bowling ball, very similar to a 10-pin bowler.
And another mark, $25 in bonus money. on top of the 50 he already had.
Member of the World Championship team, Bill Treeful was in 1989 and again in 1994. Has won 4 state titles in New Hampshire, including doubles with Sean Baker, who we'll see 2 weeks from today as our top seed.
Is a strike for Treeful in the 10th frame. Another $25 in bonus money. So he has 100. And he has a big string going.
We're looking at a nearly 100-pin lead with the big finish here.
144 plus whatever he gets on the strike. To the Brooklyn side.
Yeah, ball was fading right there and didn't get enough of the head pin.
He's at 150. 151 for Bill Treeful in the second string. And the pressure now on to Hugh Ferguson as he finishes up the second string. He's working on a mark.
He's got 289 through 2 games. 144.5 average.
Staring at a 400 triple for sure,
I would say.
Now here's Ferguson. Trying to respond to the pressure. He will put 8 in the spare. Unfortunately, the wood is not angled very well for him. Not going to make it. That'll be a 9 box for Hugh. He's at 98.
He's looking at a 65, 70 pin deficit in the third game.
He's going to need another 174, give or take, even more.
Yeah, because Treeful finished with 5 marks in a row. He's on a roll.
Right on the head pin that time. A little too full. Will he break up the split? He will not. The 3 and the 7.
He loses the wood, too.
Tough shot here for Hugh Ferguson. The 3 and the 7. Not going to make it, so he's at 107. That's what it is, 107 for Hugh Ferguson in the second string. A 71-pin lead for Bill Treeful heading to the third string as we continue with Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on WNDS-TV. Hugh Ferguson is first to bowl in the third string, and he has a mountain to climb. He trails Bill Treeful by 71 pins.
Yeah, kind of rearing up at the line, and the ball going to the right-hand side, taking out the 6, 9, 10.
We keep referring back to that match a couple of years ago when Hawk Hallis came back to defeat Joe Ashline. I think 2 frames into the third string, he was trailing by 60 pins.
Roughly 60,
and
yeah.
He came back to win the match. So while you never say never, it's highly unlikely that you come back from a 71-pin deficit in the third string. I mean, if you bowl a 90, then if your opponent bowls a 90, you still have to bowl a 160 to win.
Yep.
There's a strike for Hugh Ferguson.
He's pretty much got to run this sheet here. The 8-10 last to go.
Now Bill Treeful, and all Treeful has to do is just throw a couple of marks up there, and
that's about it.
He'd be in business. Spread eagle.
Bill Treeful, winner, I'm sorry, not winner, but third place finisher in the WCBC tournament a few weeks ago at Lucky Strike Lanes in Lynn, and doing very well at a recent Senior Pro Tour stop where he came in 5th place.
And he almost picked up the spread eagle. He played it as well as you can. Made the cut shot, just couldn't quite get them all. Picks up a 10 bucks.
Got $30 in the bonus ball game. Jackpot at the end of this match. We'll pick a card, see if we can't match it up with our winning bowler's 1-ball toss.
4 horsemen left side. The 1, the 2, the 4, and the 7. Piece of wood in the back should not be a factor. He'll be open through the first 2, so Hugh Ferguson has a chance to pick up a little bit of ground. And a 10 box. 2 10 boxes for Treeful. Now let's see if Ferguson can put a couple marks on the board and get the crowd buzzing. That's what he needs to do. He needs to run the table. He had 9 marks in the 3rd string last week on his way to a 174. That's in a strike, so that doesn't hurt badly yet. He needs to make this shot.
He was a truck driver with the Teamsters for the Boston Globe. So he's got some early mornings.
Going to put 7 in the strike and not put marks back to back. And that's an 8 box. I dare say he's in a bit of difficulty right now. How's that for something profound?
That's why you are where you are today. That's that character, Mr. Obvious. Oh.
Can't break up the split. It's got some wood that will help. Still has to, well, take that 3-pin first. That's the key right here. Gonna make the spare.
Yeah.
Nice shot for Hugh Ferguson.
He is so accurate.
2 marks in the 3rd string for Hugh Ferguson. Now Bill Treeful. Nine-pin drop as he crossed over to the Brooklyn side and left the 10-pin standing.
We'll have a look at Chris Bovair, last year's Tournament of Champions winner, next Sunday.
That's a mark for Bill Treeful, and that's really all he has to do to ice the match for himself.
Well, he's not left a pin standing. A pair of 10s and a 3rd frame spare. For the retired police chief.
That's a pocket shot and a strike in the spare, and we go to the break. You'll get to see it again as Bill Treeful just about ices the match over Hugh Ferguson. We're going to the break at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. We're coming back with Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV right after this. All right, Hugh Ferguson is stepping to the line. Hasn't gained any ground on Bill Treeful. 2 marks for both bowlers. As a matter of fact, he's lost a couple of pins. And there's Hugh with a pocket shot and a 9-pin drop and a spare opportunity. The 5-pin stands. The 5-pin goes. Not textbook variety, but it goes. 2 marks in a row. Now Hugh has a chance at some bonus money. I'd like to see him win some extra cash here this afternoon.
He sure won a lot last week, $225. Our runner-up today also wins $225.
Now Hugh looks for some bonus money. That one got away from him, and it's a half Worcester on the right side. Just 2 in the mark. He will be open in the 6th frame. So no longer is a question of who, it is a question of by how much. That's an 8 box for Hugh Ferguson, and Chris Bovair waiting in the wings to meet Bill Treeful next week.
We're 3 weeks away from the start of the Tournament of Champions.
There's Bill Treeful, 2 marks in a row, and we're looking at a possible $1,000 shot coming up right here. To be more precise, what is it, $1,125?
$1,125 if he can duplicate his last 2 frames right here in the 6th.
This is for $1,125 for Bill Treeful. We haven't given it away in quite some time, and you watch it. Not going to happen.
Big smile on his face because he gave it a good run. How many times do we see bowlers totally miss the head pin or punch out? But he gave it a good shot, leaving the 610.
And the consecutive mark streak ends at 3.
So his lead is now 96 pins through completed frames.
With 4 frames remaining. So Bill Treeful gave the crowd a little bit of a buzz, going after the triple strike jackpot and coming pretty close. He threw the ball right on the head pin, which is all you can ask. Hugh Ferguson not able to buy a break in this 3rd string. What a difference a week makes. And that will be a 9 box. 393 triple last week for Hugh. This week he'll be about 330, 340 perhaps.
So it's the 4 horsemen on the right-hand side, 1, 3, 6, and 10.
Will it go? The 6-pin wobbles. And a 9 box, and he's at 90 through 8. Bill Treeful now just tries to add to his total. And both bowlers are interested now in some bonus money if they can accomplish that. Look at this by Bill Treeful right in the pocket again. He leaves the 4-pin. He could have 5 strikes in a row. Another spare for Treeful.
Boy, is he in the zone, huh? Throwing with such confidence.
He's got a pretty good string going right here.
Well, he's already at 400 with just a 4-pin toss here. Not even that, 2 pins to be exact.
A little thin on the head pin, but a good opportunity here for another mark.
Well, the wood is rolling out a little closer to the lip of the lane and rests right against where the plate and the lane meet, making it a little bit tougher.
No problem at all for Bill Treeful. Another pair of marks for Treeful and an opportunity for bonus money when he comes up to the line again. And we will tell you how he does when we come back. As we head out for a break, we'll come back to meet our bowlers and recap this 3rd string. When we continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire, Bill Treeful the winner over Hugh Ferguson. Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues on WNDS TV right after this.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you by the Thompson family of dealerships in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Bill Treeful defeats Hugh Ferguson by a final score of 444 to 345. Hugh Ferguson last week, 3rd string, 9 marks. On your way to a 174, what a difference a week makes.
Absolutely. It changes real fast sometimes.
We were talking about your difficulty finding the head pin this afternoon compared to last week.
When I hit it, I scored, but I was nowhere close to it. That was the problem, and Billy was all over it.
He had a great triple at 444. $225 for you. Congratulations. We'll look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you very much.
Hugh Ferguson, our runner-up here this afternoon, and now Bill Treeful, our winner, will roll a ball, and we'll try to match him up with a winner at home in the bonus ball contest. Go ahead, Billy. It is a 7, and let's see if we can match him up with a winner at home. Mike Moran reaches into the bin. Make sure all the correct information is there, and it is Paul Charles from Methuen, Massachusetts. How much money we got in the jackpot?
$30.
$30. Number 7, a winner for $30 for Paul Charles of Woodland Street. And Bill Treeful will bring Bill in. Congratulations to you. As Hugh was saying, you were all over that headpin this afternoon.
Yeah, the ball was in there working. I felt real strong, but I had to get a big lead because I saw what Hugh did last week in his third string, so you don't take any chances. If you get him down, you got to keep pushing.
Did you know there was $1,125 in that triple strike jackpot?
Well, there were enough people telling me in the audience.
What's going through your mind as you step into the line for that third one?
Just get the ball out in front of me and try to hit the head pin.
Well, you sure did. You gave it a great run. Look forward to seeing you next week, Bill. Congratulations. Bill Treeful, our winner here this afternoon, and up the ladder we go.
Yeah, no easy assignment next week. One of the hot young bowlers in the up-and-coming stages. Actually, he's arrived because he won the Tournament of Champions last year. Chris Bovair, Bill Treeful, next Sunday.
We'll look forward to seeing you as well. For Mike Moran and our entire WNDS TV crew, I'm Dick Lutz. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Remember, let's go bowling. So long, everybody.